So today, my people, there's serious talk coming straight out of Abuja, and it's the kind of story that gets everyone leaning closer to their screens. You probably already saw the headline: breaking news, heavy drama in Abuja Court. Kanu's lawyers make unexpected move, judge furious. And yes, what happened in court has turned into one of the biggest talking points across Nigeria right now. It's tense, emotional, political, and legally complicated. But don't worry, I'll break everything down for you in clear and simple English so that everyone can understand exactly what's going on. Now, while we're here, if you haven't done it yet, please hit that like button and subscribe to this channel, because what I'm about to explain is one of those national stories you'll want to keep getting updates on. Every little turn matters, and we'll be covering all of them right here. So let's get straight into the gist. Inside the Federal High Court in Abuja, where the trial of Nnamdi Kanu, the leader of the proscribed indigenous people of Biafra, IPOB, has been ongoing for years, things reached a boiling point this week. It wasn't just a normal hearing. It was one of those days where everything in the courtroom shifted suddenly. The judge, Justice James Omotosho, made a very firm decision that shook both sides. After months of waiting, arguing, and postponing, the court finally decided to foreclose Kanu's defense, meaning the time for him to defend himself has officially closed. Now, for those who might not fully get that, foreclosure in legal terms means the court says, enough delay. You've had your chance to present your defense, but since you didn't, we're moving on. It doesn't automatically mean the man is guilty, but it means the judge will now decide the case based on the evidence the prosecution already presented, without waiting for more from Kanu's side. And this is where the heat started. You could feel the tension in that courtroom. Journalists present said even the air felt heavy. The moment the judge made that pronouncement, some murmurs came from the back. People were shocked. It was clear that Kanu's legal team had been trying to make another move, one that the court did not see coming. His lawyers had just filed a new motion, arguing that the very law used to charge him, the Terrorism Prevention and Prohibition Act, was no longer valid. According to them, the law was repealed, and therefore, there's technically no legal ground for the terrorism charges against him. Now imagine that. Right when everyone was expecting them to start defending him on the main charges, they suddenly bring this new angle. The courtroom froze for a moment. Even the judge paused before reacting. Then things got more serious. Justice Omotosho, clearly frustrated, told them that they had been given 6 different court sittings to start their defense and refused each time. He reminded them that the court had already been patient, extremely patient, but that the law doesn't allow endless delay. He said something along the lines of, the court cannot wait forever. And that's when you could feel that tension rising again. Some people say the judge was visibly angry, though professional enough to keep his tone measured. Others said you could see it in his face, that expression of, this matter must move forward. Please, if you're watching right now and you love how I'm breaking this gist for you, don't forget to like this video and subscribe. It really helps this channel grow so that we can keep bringing you verified, easy to understand updates from the biggest events around Nigeria and beyond. So back to the courtroom. Nnamdi Kanu himself was calm for most of the proceedings, but you could sense his displeasure too. At some point, reports say he spoke quietly with one of his lawyers, shaking his head slowly. His supporters, those who managed to attend, were clearly unhappy. And outside the court, you already know, people began talking, social media began buzzing, and all kinds of interpretations started flying. Some said the court was being too harsh. Others said, no, enough is enough. The law has to take its course. It's been that kind of back and forth debate for years now with this case. But this particular sitting hit differently because it signaled that the case is moving toward a final judgment date, November 20th. That's the date Justice Omotosho fixed for his decision. That's when Nigeria will finally hear the court's verdict after this long, winding legal journey. Now, what's interesting, honestly, what got many Nigerians debating is not just what happened inside the court, but what it represents.
Because this case has never been an ordinary one. Nnamdi Kanu is not a small name. He's been at the center of controversy for years, loved by some, criticized by others,
but definitely one of the most discussed figures in recent Nigerian political history. His supporters see him as a man fighting for what he believes in. His critics see him as someone who pushed things too far, but no matter your opinion, you can't deny that his trial has become a mirror of how justice, politics, and emotion mix in our country. Now let's talk a bit about why this courtroom moment felt so charged. When a case drags on for years, especially one that touches deep political and regional emotions, everyone gets tired. The court, the lawyers, even the public. Every adjournment feels like déjà vu. So when the judge finally says, "We're done waiting," it's not just a procedural thing, it's a signal. It says the time for decisions is here. But on the other side,
Kanu's team argues that the law is the law, and if the Terrorism Act was repealed, then that's a serious issue. It's not something that can be ignored, they say. If the foundation of the case isn't valid, then every other thing built on it could collapse. That's their argument, and they're sticking with it even if it means risking the judge's patience. Now, whether that argument will hold or not, we'll only know on November 20. But until then, this twist has given the entire case fresh energy and plenty of talking points. Some Nigerians are now asking, is the court being fair? Others are asking, why does this case take so long? And some are saying, what will happen after judgment no matter which way it goes? Because truthfully, whatever happens in that courtroom will ripple far beyond Abuja. It'll affect public opinion, political balance, and even how people view the judiciary. Please, if you're still with me, take a second to hit that like button. I mean it. It really helps. And subscribe too so you won't miss when we break down the judgment live later this month. Now let's talk about what people are saying outside court. On social media, you can already see two camps forming again. One side supporting Kanu, saying the court is ignoring key legal facts, and the other saying he's had enough time. Let the law do its job. It's the same divide we've seen from the start, but this time it feels sharper. You can tell this isn't just about one man anymore. It's about what people believe Nigeria should be. It's about justice, fairness, and national unity. And every word said in that courtroom feeds into the bigger story. That's why this matter always trends so fast. Even though there was visible frustration from the judge, it's important to note something. Nigeria's courts, like courts anywhere, are guided by procedure. Judges can't allow endless delays because it weakens the entire system. At the same time, defendants have a right to be heard and to challenge any law they believe is wrong. So the balance is delicate. And that's exactly what this case represents. The balance between law, patience, and principle. Now, before I move into the next part, where we'll talk about Kanu's personal courtroom behavior, how his supporters reacted outside, what legal experts are saying, and how this could shape politics in the Southeast, please, again, hit that like button and subscribe. It helps a lot more than you think.